Hi William, in response to your question on the PTE AV Studio Facebook page, I believe this is what you're trying to do or something very similar. If we just have a look on the window here and see how it goes. What we're doing, let's have a look, go from there to there. And I think that's what you're trying to do, possibly opening the other way, but it's easy either way. You can do this and create a slide option and your own transition so that it can be used whenever you want. And now I've done that, and this is what I've called barn doors. So let's have a look at, okay, let's say okay, let's just take that back to normal now. Slide options, default transition, so I'll leave it at that, which is the normal way. So what we want to do is for this image here to open up into this image here, but the transition needs to be on this image. So let's have a look how we do that. Let's go into our slide options again, and we're going to put a new transition into, well, let's put it in custom transitions rather than set up another one. I think it'll probably do that on its own. Okay, let's just go manage transitions. We want to create a transition. Yes, it's going to set up its own folder of custom transitions. We'll put a name in later. It wants to be in the global storage area, which is where all the transitions are kept. It's a single variant. We can leave everything down here as it is and start with edit. And this is an example that it's giving us so that we can work on and edit this and create our own transition. So if we use the one that's in there, then that's what it does. It's a 2-second duration. We can change that if we wish, but what we need to do is to remove this final keyframe, and then basically we have 2 slides. To do this, what we have just done is to duplicate this slide. Now I'm just going to use the Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V. Beware of this because it makes it a child of the original one, so just drag it out there and place it in between the two. That's all we need to do. So what I'm going to do now is to rename these slides. This is going to be, let's go into Properties, the left door, if I can spell, stumpy fingers on the keyboard, and this is going to be the right door. Okay, let's take the left door to start with. What we need to do is to crop this image. I've selected crop, and we need to crop it from the right hand side, and we need to take off 50%. We still have the central rotation point, but we want that to be over here on this left hand end. So back to animation, and we're going to drag it that way, so dragging it across to the left, and in fact it is -100. So Command Z, let's just do it that way so you can see we can do it that way. Right click and select -100. And we want this to be on the very left hand side, so that's in the X position of 0. So now we go to the right hand door, and we want to crop that also, but that's 50% from the left. And again, back to animations, and the center, this time we want it to be +100, but this time we want that edge to be on the right hand edge, which is 960. So effectively we've got the same image, but we've got it in 2 halves. And what we need to do now is to create the motion that we want. So let's take this left door. From here I'm going to clone this keyframe. I'm going to drag it to the very end, so we've got 2 seconds duration for the transition, and we want to rotate on Y either that way or that way. The choice is yours. And I'm going to take it round to about 120 degrees. I'm giving it a definite figure so that both are the same and move at the same time. So that's that one. On the right door, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We want to duplicate the keyframe, clone that, should I say, drag it across to the end, and this door we want to open in the same direction as it were. So drag across, take that, this time it's -120. And if we go to the beginning, let's just do that, and we run it, we can see what we've got. So let's go back to our main page. We're going to call this barn door tutorial, and it doesn't wipe out my existing one, and we want to save it in global storage under custom transitions and say OK. So now we have our barn door tutorial, which is the name of the transition that we've created. So OK. Right, let's start from scratch again. Slide styles, default transition, and say OK. So as we go from one to the other now, we should get the standard fade transition. Runs through, and it will simply dissolve into the next slide because we have no transitions in there. Let's add the transition that we've just created. So slide options, and the transition that we want is in our custom transitions barn door tutorial. OK. And now if we run it, we have the opening doors. I hope that's what you were looking for, William, but that's how we do it. If not, at least it will give you some idea how to move the center points and where to place them.